Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the THW Hockey Raiders News and Rumors Rundown. My name is Jim Parsons. It is June 12th today, Saturday. For those of you that want to get caught up on the news and rumors of the week, we're going to be doing that right away here. But just a quick reminder before we get started, if you want to follow us, there's a few ways you can do so. At the Hockey Raider on Twitter, just go right down there. If you want to go to thehockeyraiders.com and the latest news and rumors, there's an article every day about the latest happenings in the NHL. And then, of course, all the way over on the end of Facebook there, facebook.com/HockeyRaider. Okay, let's get right into things. Let's talk a little bit about some of the interesting stories that are happening right now. Jack Eichel is a big topic of conversation in Buffalo. Elliot Friedman is reporting that the Sabres are ready to move on, that they are essentially done with Jack Eichel, that they are looking to make a trade, that they are making it known throughout the league that he is available, but they are unfortunately running into a few snags. One, some of the teams that are interested in Jack Eichel are kind of dropping out of the race. One team, for example, the Los Angeles Kings, is said to have moved into a different direction and isn't as interested in Eichel as they once were. There's also talk that some of the teams that were interested in Jack Eichel are still concerned about his injury, just like the Buffalo Sabres are in the way that Eichel wants to recuperate and recover from this thing. They're a little leery about how he wants to go about that, and they're kind of hesitant to give up huge assets for that, which means that his trade value around the league is dropping a little bit. So Kevin Adams is going to have to reshape the narrative here for Buffalo, try to figure out a way to get a better return on Jack Eichel, because right now this trade value is dropping around the league. Some interesting chatter between Dougie Hamilton of the Carolina Hurricanes and Nikita Kucherov of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hamilton did his post-series media avail and said, "We thought we were a close team. We thought we were a good team. Unfortunately, we were playing a team that was $18 million over the salary cap." When asked about that comment, he said, "Look, I'm not trying to knock the rules. It's just you realize how good Tampa Bay is and how deep they are because they have the ability to spend the extra money, whereas Carolina wasn't able to do that." Nikita Kucherov was asked about Dougie Hamilton's comments, and he basically said, "Look, I don't make the rules. It's not up to me. It's not like I did anything on purpose. I had surgery. I rehabbed. It was tough. I went through all of that. When I was able to play, I played." So Kucherov isn't really taking this terribly well. I mean, it's not his fault, but there is a lot of talk that Tampa Bay and other teams like Tampa Bay kind of skirted the salary cap rules, even though they are totally legal, and the NHL looked into this and said, look, there's no fault here, but it's still going to be a debate, especially if Tampa goes on to win and Nikita Kucherov leads the playoffs in point production. That's a big one because his $9 million came back onto the roster without hitting the salary cap, and it is somewhat of an unfair advantage for the Lightning. But Dougie Hamilton was just sort of speaking what everybody was thinking, I guess. Joe Sakic in Colorado's got a lot of work to do. Now that the Avalanche have been eliminated by the Vegas Golden Knights, there's going to be free agents like Gabriel Landeskog. What's he going to be looking at for a contract? There's going to be some reports that other teams like Los Angeles, Edmonton are going to be kicking tires on a winger like Landeskog. It's probably likely that he'll take a deal to stay in Colorado, but the Avalanche, with the team that once had a ton of cap space, they're not that necessarily floating in cap space availability anymore. They got Landeskog, they got Cale Makar coming up, not this year, but next year. They got Philip Grubauer in goal. It's going to need an extension. You're going to have to figure out what to do with a lot of these players. Does that mean some changes in Colorado? It certainly could. And Joe Sakic has got some difficult decisions to make. In Boston, there's updates on Tuukka Rask. He basically said, I played all year injured, torn labrum. He's going to get surgery in the offseason. He's probably not looking to be back until January or February at the earliest, assuming he can come back. He says mentally he's just got to get himself synced up and he's ready to play again. But he's going to have to see how he feels physically. As for Taylor Hall, he was asked if he's willing to come back to the Boston Bruins on a team-friendly deal. He said, "I don't even know what my value is at this point." He's like, "I had two really different seasons, one where I was really not that great in Buffalo and one where I was much better in Boston." He doesn't know what he's worth on the open market, but he says he's going to sit back, just see how this unfolds, let the dust settle in Boston because they got some bigger things to do, including Rask, including David Krejci, and then he'll deal with what happens. He's not looking to make a killer amount of money. He's already made a lot of money in the NHL. He's looking for more of a long-term commitment. Would like to stay in Boston if it's possible, but he's just not sure where everybody sits on that point yet. Some Edmonton Oilers news. Devon Shore has signed a 2-year contract extension, which was very polarizing in Edmonton. A lot of the fan base hated this because he's not exactly an analytics darling. His numbers weren't great in that respect, but he is a useful depth player who can penalty kill, play center or wing, things like that. The Oilers also lost Gaetan Haas. He's going to Switzerland for a 5-year contract. And then some news out of Toronto about Frederik Andersen, whether or not he's going to be of interest to the Maple Leafs on an extension. And Pittsburgh, the Penguins might be looking at Andersen as an option. Sounds like Brian Burke is going to be making a trip down memory lane and maybe visiting the idea of Andersen as a free agent or potentially trading him for his rights before free agency opens up. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for this weekend. We appreciate you joining us. Hit the like and subscribe button. Check out all the notifications for other videos. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will talk to you soon. This has been another edition of the THW NHL News and Rumors Rundown. For the Hockey Raiders, my name is Jim Parsons. Have a great week, everybody.